What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. And in this video, we are going to be looking at some sleeper prospects, okay? And we're going to be doing just a defense, every single position. So if you guys want to see an offensive one, make sure you support the heck out of it, like it, comment, do whatever you got to do to see the offensive one, because that will let me know that you guys want to see a part 2 for the offensive side of the ball. In this video, again, just defensive players, I'm also going to be giving you guys the big announcement for Friday, so make sure you stay tuned so you don't miss that announcement. Obviously, things change, schedules will change. It may not work out on exactly Friday. It may be pushed around. I'm not exactly sure. We're kind of working around someone else's schedule here, but the thought is it's going to be Friday, so I wanted to let you guys know ahead of time, that way you guys can be prepared to be there. So let's just get this thing started. Let's go. So that's right, we're talking about every position defensively. Every position. We have defensive line, edge, linebacker, cornerback, and safety. Those positions we are going to be naming a player for. I think that's actually 5. So kind of top 5, but not really because it goes by position. Anyways, we're going to start off with the defensive line position. Now, there's some really good talent high here. Javon Kinlaw and Derek Brown are the two players that are pretty much the most well-known. There's also guys in the second round like Ross Blacklock, Justin Matabuke. There's some really good players in there. And then there's some other later round guys like Raekwon Williams that they're kind of in there as sleepers. For me, I went a different route. I went with the guy that's projected to go in round number 4, and this is a guy out of Alabama named Raekwon Davis. Now, why is he a sleeper? Why would this guy be a sleeper with the size that he had and the production that he put up in 2017 and the fact that he went to Alabama? How is this guy a sleeper, right? Why is he projected to go so late? It's pretty simple. Since 2017, he hasn't shown us that same production. A guy that hasn't shown you production since 2017 is kind of concerning, because 2018 and 2019 did not even get close to the sack numbers that he had in 2017. So was that just him being around very good players that allowed him to make those plays? Or was it just an outlier? What was it? Why was the reason that he had so many sacks that year and not the other years? That's a very big concern. Now, he still has graded out high, not as high as 2017, but still very high since then. He's still a very good player, but the question is, can he give you that sack production? Because if he can, if he has been, he would be the first defensive lineman to go off the board. With 6'6", 311 pounds, guy that could have 7 sacks, if he was getting 5, 5, and 7, if that was his numbers, I think he'd be a first-round pick. But because he hasn't, because that production has dropped off so much, I think that's why he's projected to go so late now. Now the thing about Raekwon Davis is that he has shown it before. So the thought is, hey, maybe he could come back. And if it does come back, then this is a guy that you definitely could be looking at and saying, okay, hold up, we made a really good decision here and we got to steal, because we've seen it before. The potential is there. Can he bring it back? Can we get it out of him? Maybe if we put him around good players. Maybe in the Lions defense, if we put him around Trey Flowers and Danny Shelton and Romeo Cora and Deshaun Hand, could this guy go out there and ball out? Could he look really, really good once again? Could he get to that top peak that he was at in 2017 with Alabama? That is a very, very big question here. So I'm going to go with Raekwon Davis. I think he's shown it before, but he has to get back to it. Obviously, he didn't in college, so now the question is, can he do it in the NFL? Definitely a big risk-reward type of player here, but at the same time, I don't think you can take this guy in the top 2 rounds. I think in the 3rd round or later, it makes sense. Top 2 rounds, I don't think this is a guy that you can go with. Next up, we're going to go to edge rusher, and at edge rusher, again, there's very talented players, very high for the Lions here. I think 2nd round, 1st round, we're definitely looking at some players. Obviously, if Chase Young falls, that might be a guy we go with. In the 2nd round at 35, you got your Curtis Weaver, you have your AJ Epinesa, Yetur Gross-Matos. You have tons of players that are edge rushers that could help out the Detroit Lions. But I'm going with a sleeper here because that's the point of the video. I'm going with Bradley Anae. Now, this is a guy I've definitely talked about before because, so you're probably thinking, oh, is this really a sleeper? I mean, you talk about him all the time. Well, he's a sleeper, but I just talk about him a lot because I'm very excited for Bradley Anae. He has that high energy. He's a very vicious hitter. I mean, he just goes at it. But there's definitely some concerns. I mean, the production is there. Everything's there. The concerns are kind of his size and his athleticism and how that would translate to the NFL. He played at Utah, so not the most competition, so his numbers could definitely be inflated, and they don't know if he has the technique and the athleticism to, take that to the NFL. They don't know if that's there. However, the production and just how hard he plays and like how vicious he is as an edge rusher, man, I just think it could work. I definitely think it could work out for Bradley Anae. Projected to go a little bit later, 4th, 5th round type of guy, maybe even 3rd round. I think this is someone that I could definitely take a chance on, knowing we need pass rushers. And yeah, I think this is a major sleeper. I mean, he had like 13 sacks last season. I definitely think it's someone that you should look at. But yeah, again, going to Utah, there's definitely some concerns. The production is there, though, like an AJ Epinesa. So I think, maybe you take the risk on him. And that's why he comes in for my edge rusher position. Next up, we have linebacker. And at linebacker, there's, again, some really good talent that we're looking at because we sit at number 3 with Isaiah Simmons. Akeem Davis-Gathers is a guy that's definitely been talked about a lot as a potential steal for the Lions, as a mid-round pick. But I'm going to go elsewhere. I'm going to change it all up, all right? I'm not going with the obvious player here. I'm going with Willie Gay Jr. What? Willie Gay Jr.? What are you talking about, man? Is that really a sleeper? He's projected to go like 2nd or 3rd round. Yes, because he's not talked about enough. At least I don't talk about him enough, so he's a sleeper to me. Because Willie Gay Jr. is a guy that's been in trouble off the field, and he's had some injuries that has made it so he doesn't even really qualify for some statistics. So he's missed a lot of time with suspensions and injuries. So he needs to get that cleared up. That has to be cleared up. You cannot be doing off the field issues. But aside from that, his play on the field, he's an extremely talented player that I think if he played in all the games, he didn't have these suspensions, if he didn't have these injuries, he could potentially be up there with Isaiah Simmons. I'm not even kidding. Because this guy kind of reminds me of what Devin Bush would give you. He's got the fly around speed, he has that closing speed, and he also can cover very well. He's 6'1", and he's not talked about much as a coverage guy, but he's graded out as one of the highest coverage linebackers in college football back-to-back seasons. He also had an interception against Tua, so I thought I would just point that out, and a sack. He's a guy that can get pressure. He flies around the field. He's got the speed. Like, it's crazy. In the combine, I was like, wow, this dude's fast. Who is this guy? And now that I've checked him out, yeah, he kind of backs it up with his play, and also his ability to cover kind of just set it home for me. I'm like, all right, if you can cover like that, we good. But you got to get everything else figured out. Injuries will happen, but you got to get the off-the-field stuff figured out. So that's definitely concerning. But, man, this guy could be a first-round pick, I think, if that wasn't a thing. If injuries and, off-the-field issues weren't a thing, but unfortunately they are. So he comes in as my sleeper, but, again, this is definitely a risky pick. Next up, we're going with Trayvon Diggs. Now, I have a couple of other options here because I know this one isn't really a sleeper, right? Trayvon Diggs expected to go second round. I like him. I love him for our defense. He's a very good press man coverage corner. I think that's what he could be with us. I would take him before I take Okudah at 3. I'm just saying. Not at 3, but I take him in the second round before I take Okudah at 3. Let me rephrase that. So you can count him. Also, you can count some of my sleepers. I went with 2 Big Ten players in Josiah Scott and Lavert Hill. Both of these guys can play man-to-man very well. I think they would fit the scheme. That's really what I'm looking for cornerbacks. Can he fit the scheme? Can he play press? Can he play man? All 3 of these guys can. And, yeah, that's why I went with all 3 of these guys. I know Josiah Scott was brought up before. And, I have watched him a little bit. He's pretty dang good. I think he's definitely a sleeper, projected to go like 5th round. Lavert Hill like a 7th round, so that's a major sleeper if he can make it work. And then obviously you have guys like Trayvon Diggs, who's not really a sleeper, but he's just really, really good. And I would love to have him in Detroit Lions uniform. I couldn't keep him off. And then finally we're going to end up with safety, and we're going to go with the guy that you guys have kind of posed me toward, and that is Geno Stone. So this was the guy that you guys were going off with Geno Stone in the comments of one of my live streams, and I was like, why would we get a safety? He's not even a big safety. Like, why would I go safety? However, I've been watching him, and he's fun to watch. Like, this dude, it just flies around. He almost looks like a linebacker. He doesn't have that crazy speed. I feel like he could play a little bit of linebacker because this dude flies around and he's a tremendous tackler. And in the open field, I mean, he just runs people down. It's crazy. This dude's fun to watch. And he also has made some plays in the coverage game as well. He did pick off Shea Patterson. So definitely a guy that I think you should keep an eye on out of Iowa. I think he's projected like 5th round. So yeah, I think Geno Stone is a good choice. You guys made a good decision there. So there you go. Those are my sleepers by position. Now let's get to the fun part. This is the fun part where I give you guys the announcement. We're going to keep it simple. So what I basically did was I reached out to a former Lions player, and I wanted to see if he wanted to be on the channel. If you wanted to do a live stream with me, if you want to do a live stream, you guys could get in the comments, ask him some questions, he could tell some stories or whatever, and I wanted to see if that would work out. And he responded. He said, yes, you would do it. At this point, Friday at 6 p.m. is what we're scheduled for. I don't know if that will change. That is Glover Quinn, okay? So I don't know how y'all feel about that, but yeah, we're going to have Glover Quinn on Friday. That's the plan right now, Friday at 6 p.m. So definitely be here. That is what I want. This is going to be a live stream. I'm going to probably put it up early that when we're going live, that way everybody can get in, because I need people in here so we can, kind of go about this, ask them some questions. We don't really have a format right now. We don't really know what we're doing. I think it's more of him plugging his channel, talking about what he does now after football, and then we can ask him some questions and kind of mix it up a little bit. So I think it'd be fun. Probably not the longest live stream, so make sure you get in there. Yes, that is the plan. That Friday we have Glover Quinn on the channel. So hopefully y'all are excited. I've been excited for it, and I'm going to tell you guys today. That way you guys can be prepared to free up some time on Friday at 6, and if anything changes, I can let you guys know. So let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.